Hey guys, so today we're doing absolute value, and basically what absolute value is, it's the distance away from zero and it's always positive. So when I ask you for the absolute value of -2, you would say 2, not -2. Just think about when you're driving. If you said, I drove -5 miles, they'd be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So let's look at a couple simple examples. So the absolute value, these bars right here mean absolute value. So the absolute value of 2, this is 2. Okay, it's 2 units away from 0. The absolute value of -4 is 4 because it's 4 units from 0. If I look at the absolute value of 4, it's also 4. Okay, and that's really important that they are the same distance away from 0 because they're 4 units away from 0. And that's why when we start solving these in just excuse me, a second, you'll see that we're going to actually split up the equations. Okay, so let's look at example 3. I have the absolute value of 4x plus 8, close absolute value, plus 9 equals 15. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down that equal sign, just because we've gotten in such a great habit of doing that already. So let's just keep that up. So I have the absolute value here, and one thing to note is the absolute value has to be alone before I can do anything. So this plus 9 has got to go. And I'm going to use the opposite operation. So the opposite operation of plus 9 is minus 9. So I'm going to subtract by 9 on both sides. Here, it's going to cancel out. It goes bye-bye. So I have the absolute value of 4x plus 8. And this is going to equal 15 minus 9, which is just 6. This is where it's going to break off. And if you remember this example, I said they are both the same distance away from 0. So I can have a positive and a negative number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these little branches. And I'm going to have 4x plus 8 is equal to positive 6. And I'm going to drop that absolute value at this point. And then I'm going to have 4x plus 8 equals negative 6. And again, that's just because like up here, they are the same distance away from 0, but one is positive and one is negative. So that's what I'm accounting for down here. And then I'm going to solve each of these individually. So I'm just going to draw the line down the equal signs right now. And it's actually nice because I divided these two equations up so you can see the difference. But I'm going to solve this one first. It doesn't matter which one you solve first. You're going to get the same answer. I'm just picking the left one just because. And I'm going to solve it like a regular equation. So 4x plus 8 equals 6. I'm going to subtract by 8 on both sides. The 8's cancel out over here. So I'm going to have 4x equals 6 minus 8 is going to give me -2. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1. X is going to equal, and right here, -2 over 4, this simplifies to -1/2. Okay, and you can get negatives. And again, that's just because here I have a negative and a negative, but they're the same distance because the absolute value of -4 is 4. So the absolute value of -1/2 will be 1/2. So it's okay to get negatives. Please do not stress if you get negatives. You will get negatives a lot. Here, let's solve it. Again, 4x plus 8 equals -6. This is a different problem because instead of equaling positive 6, it's going to equal -6. So I'm going to subtract by 8 on both sides. Here they go bye-bye. So if 4x equals, well, -6 minus 8 is -14. Divide by 4, they cancel out right here. I'm going to write up here what x equals. X equals -14 divided by 4 simplifies to -7 over 2. Okay, and the reason why I'm writing the simplified versions is because they're both divisible by 2. So -14 divided by 2 is -7. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay. So again, I'm splitting these up. Once you get that absolute value by itself, split it up into 2 parts because we're finding the distance away from 0. And it's the same. If we look here, -4 and 4 are both 4 units away from 0. All right, so let's go to our last example. Example 4 is I have the absolute value of x plus 7, close absolute value, minus 3 equals 5. Let's draw that equal sign. Now, if you remember, that absolute value has to get by itself. So that -3 has got to go. I need just the absolute value. And the opposite operation of subtraction is addition. So instead of -3, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And right here, these are going to cancel out. They're going to go bye-bye. So I'm going to have the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 8. Well, now, this is when I can split it up. Okay, and I'm going to use that line again. So I'm going to have x plus 7 equals 8. X plus 7 equals -8. One positive, one negative, because we're finding the distance away from 0. Then I'm going to solve each of these individually. It doesn't matter which one you pick first. You will get the same answers. I typically just solve the one on the left-hand side. But what's really nice is just it's x plus 7, so you can do this in your head, but I'm going to show you the work. So the opposite operation of addition is subtraction, so -7, -7. Here they cancel out. Well, 8 minus 7 is 1, so x equals 1. All right, that was nice. Here, 8 plus 7 equals -8. Well, the opposite operation of addition is subtraction, so -7. They cancel out. They go bye-bye over on that left-hand side. -8 minus -7 is -15. So x equals 1 or x equals -15. All right, so let's recap this lesson. So absolute value is the distance away from 0. It's always positive. Please do not say it's -7 units. That doesn't make sense. Once you get the absolute value alone, when you're solving, right here, whatever is kicked out, you kick it out. Once it's by itself, then you can break it up. One positive, one negative. Solve it like you would solve a typical equation. You're going to have 2 answers for these. 2 answers. If you have one, you made a mistake. You need 2 answers for these. Okay? 2 answers. Once you break them apart, solve them individually. You can have negative numbers as your answer. That's fine. If you have fractions, please make sure they are in the simplest forms. If they are like this, -7/2, where the top is bigger than the bottom, or an improper fraction, that's fine. Leave it that way, okay? I know you guys like decimals, but let's keep them in fraction form. Okay, so again, we're going over this one more time because this is really important. Get that absolute value by itself. Once it's by itself, break it into those 2 parts. Use your 2 branches. Then solve for it, and you will get 2 answers. So absolute value equations should have 2 answers.